All right, recording. All right, folks, welcome. You're in for a treat. It's gonna be a good one, a really interesting one. We got, Brandin Strasser out of Edmonton, Alberta, and he has been doing a really awesome job just using the TikTok platform, the TikTok app. And you guys asked for this, so here it is. We've got someone, not just my opinion and my take on it. I'm a very new TikToker, right? Not really that well versed in the platform. I've got a practitioner here, someone that's not just doing it, but doing it at a high level. A bunch of transactions already in your first year and a couple months in real estate. That's brand new, Brandon. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about yourself, like what got you into real estate, and why TikTok. Let's segue into that first question.
Yeah, so I actually have a degree in accounting, fun fact. So I was doing accounting and everything. I born and raised in the GTA. I lived in Toronto proper for a couple of years. 2021, I moved out to Edmonton. I was doing accounting a bit here. It was never really something that I was that passionate about though. So as I got more stable financially, I always wanted to do something that I had more of a passion for, and I always loved real estate. I loved I would always find myself just like browsing on Hobby and things like that. So I was like, I think I can help people here and make a good career for myself as well if I have a lot of passion in it. So I got my license, and the biggest issue I had getting into it, so many people are like, yeah, like, your first year, you depend on your sphere of influence a lot. We all hear that. And I was like, I don't know anybody. I moved to Edmonton during COVID. Like, I have zero friends. So I was like, how do I make an impact? And how do I get out there? And I just thought to myself, I want to do social media. But then I was looking at Instagram and I was like, Instagram's all right, but it's super established. I know so many people who can just blow up organically on TikTok. I was like, let's just post and let's just see what happens. And at the beginning, when I first started posting, I felt so awkward on it. I was like, am I really going to do this? Like, this is really weird. Is this going to work?
100%.
And then my first post that I ever made, over 100,000 views. And people the response.
Hold the phone. So now you gotta tell me more about that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, and honestly, it was just a house, and it was just I toured a house that I joined a brokerage, and they had a listing, and I was like, hey, I'm interested in doing these house tour-esque things where, but I didn't want to just show the house. I kind of wanted to show myself. So I got in front of the house, and I was a little like spunky, and I felt so awkward, and I was like, hey, let's go check out. It was that traditional thing, and I was so nervous to do it, and I felt like I looked so dumb doing it. But I was like, I'm just gonna post it. I'm just gonna close my eyes, plug my ears, and I'm just gonna post it and see what happens.
You didn't listen to that instinct. You didn't.
Yeah.
You're like, no. Let's close your eyes and let's go.
Exactly. And it was different. It was different than what people were seeing in real estate and in Edmonton. No one was doing it for Edmonton real estate. So it was this huge sweep of people being like, wait a minute. Edmonton has nice houses, and Edmonton has nice houses that aren't $1 million. You can get a house.
2 million in GTA, right?
Exactly. So yeah. Exactly. And then people just started like swarming, and I was getting a lot of views at first, but I wasn't getting as much followers at the beginning. And I just stayed consistent. I kept posting, and then as I felt as though once I had about 20 to 30 videos up, and I kind of started talking about myself as well, my journey from Toronto to Edmonton, why I chose to live in Edmonton, why I like Edmonton. That's when people really started following a lot more, and people realized that I could be a one-stop shop for everything Edmonton. You can look at houses, you can see fun things to do, you can talk about the lifestyle, just everything. And that's what I try so hard to put out there on my social media is I don't want to just do one thing. I want people to feel as though they can go onto my page and they can get what they're looking for. And I'm not shoving something down their throat and just trying to get them to consume what I want them to consume.
I gotcha. And I totally understand that. And Brandon, walk us through that first post went viral. That's the magic. I mean, you can't do that on Facebook anymore, right? You can't do that on
Yeah,
Instagram anymore. That's not a thing anymore. That was a thing a decade ago, maybe, right? I was there.
yeah.
Like, well, maybe that was happening back in the day. But TikTok, from my perspective, that's the only place those things are happening right now. How
Yeah.
long was it from, your first video goes viral? That's amazing. When do you start getting actual clients from it? Because I know people in the audience, I know you're asking this question. It's in the back of your mind. Like, followers and views are great, Brandon, but
Yeah.
like, how did this become, when did this go from, hey, I'm sure this will work someday, to like, holy cow, people are like, serious people are reaching out to
Yeah.
me and they want to work with me because of the video they saw?
Yeah, I think the transition period was when it got to the point where I was a couple months in. I would say probably within 3 months is when I started having more people, more legitimate people reaching out. If you post on TikTok and you post a house, you're always going to get those people saying, I'm interested, message me. And then they just ghost and they're not serious. They're just more like awestruck from the house, but they're not actually ready to buy a house.
That's
I think within 3 months, when I started talking about, the home buying process, the moving process, life in Edmonton, here's a house tour, here's this, that's when people really started to build that trust with me. And I think people felt more comfortable reaching out to me because I wasn't just the young new realtor posting a house. I actually had knowledge. I could actually help them as well as show them, and I could be patient with them, and I could kind of, a lot of the demographic that I'm like appealing to are young first time home buyers, and they're people who kind of want to break the mold from that traditional real estate stereotype, I guess, where
Gotcha. The
you
shirt,
sign up on
the
a
tie,
website.
shirt and tie, stuffy, like very formal. Like, oh yeah,
Exactly.
you'd probably be great to work with my mom, but I need someone to work with me, right?
Exactly. And I think that that's the changing in demographic that we're seeing with buying. Maybe I'm not sure what it's like in other markets around Canada, but in Edmonton, because it is so affordable, we're seeing a ton of young buyers. So it
Interesting.
just makes sense to appeal to that demographic. But I even have, people in their 40s reaching out to me being like, I align more with what you're putting out there than what my other realtor that I used in the past did. I think a huge benefit to that as well is that because TikTok is free to use and it's free to post and it's all organic growth. That's another thing. I've never paid for a TikTok ad or
Ads.
anything like that.
Interesting.
So it's all organic growth. So when it comes to listing or it comes to working with my buyers, I feel like I have a lot less stress working with them, because at the end of the day, if they turned around and said, hey, we're going to wait a second, it's not like a pay-per-click ad where I'm like, well,
Oh my
shit, like
God.
I need to make up my money,
Yeah,
I didn't lose any money getting them. So all I can do is gain. And I think
100%.
that gives me a competitive advantage because I
Huge.
don't need to stress about making that money. I don't need to tell them you need to buy, because if I don't sell you on a house, then that's like $50 that I've lost or something like that.
100%. And Brandon, you reminded me of another person that I follow on YouTube. He's a real estate agent, and he did something similar to what you're doing, describing. He bought a domain. This is like 15 years ago. This is before the other crash, like not this shit. Like before 2008, he bought a domain, built a website, had a lot of blogs. He was living in Hawaii at the time, and he built out beachfront property on Malibu, the equivalent of that, right? He got up front and he became the darling of the search engines, and he would close 100 deals per year in Hawaii, and not the big island of Oahu, where most people live. And he would get 100 deals per year, him and a small team, just from inbound organic leads that really liked his blog posts about Hawaii, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I thought, and I was like, holy, that's like the holy grail of, people that are engaged, that are interested, and it's free. Like what? Because, I mean,
exactly.
the kind of lead you're describing, first of all, I don't think you can get through paid ads, that kind of lead, because they're reaching out to you. They want you.
Yeah,
A pay-per-click lead wants a house, right? And you're trying to get
yeah,
in front of them to get between them and the house. No, to get the house, you need me. So let me, like, you're interrupting them. Hey, you need me. And you and another 5 agents, by the way. And the lead you're describing, if it's adequately priced, at least in the US market, that's 35% of the commission. If they hand off a lead like that to you, it's not even 50 bucks for that lead. If it's a bottom of funnel, motivated lead, qualified lead, the big companies in the US and the States want 25 to 35% of that check, right? At the end of the day, like, hey, you're welcome, have as many as you want, Brandin, but we're going to get our money back in. So
Exactly.
what you've built, that's the value of it. Multiply that times, however many people have reached out to you, right? It's crazy, right? So
Yeah.
the value is 100% there. So Brandin, did you have any inspiration to like how did you find your voice? You found your voice on TikTok from what you're describing. It was properties, then it was that experience of moving, and then it was just you, right? Living and discovering, Edmonton. Did you have anyone that you followed beforehand? They're like, hey, I want to be that person of real estate in Edmonton, or that person from real estate in that other city, but in Edmonton. Did you have anything like that, or was it just kind of you finding your way?
I think it was, I wouldn't say that there was any specific individuals that super influenced me. There are people who were doing similar things in Calgary. Like I'm sure you may have seen, like, Tyler Hassman, he's got the hat and stuff.
Absolutely.
And
I got the hat in the home tours.
homes.
Yeah, the drones,
Yeah.
and like he goes all out. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so like he travels a lot and stuff like that. And I definitely saw his posts and things like that. I wouldn't say that there was a direct influence. Obviously, there's only so much you can do on social media. And everyone's gonna pull a little bit. But Brad McCallum, I'm not sure if you know who that is.
Not familiar.
He's bigger on like YouTube rather than smaller platform social media. But he has a lot of insight as well onto, using social media. But one thing that I do say that I think is kind of uniquely what I do, at least in my market from what I've seen, is I do a lot of lifestyle pieces. I throw a lot of myself into all of my content. And that's, I would say honestly, like outside of home tours, outside of talking about market stats, telling people like how to buy houses, ultimately I attribute my quick success and the amount of leads that I get from my social media to the fact that I am authentically myself. I put my heart and soul into every single video that I make, even if it's just a home tour. I stand behind these home tours. I don't film every single house. I film a lot of houses, but I've walked into show homes or I've walked into resale houses where I won't film them because I stand behind everything I put onto my social media. And that's why if you look in my comments, I will get a little bit passionate with people when people like, when they criticize things that I'm saying, or they criticize the houses, or, they come for me essentially on social media. I get very passionate and I defend myself. And I've had people say, you're a realtor, like be professional. Why, like, whenever they'll come to me, or they'll be like, you're shoving like crap down people's throat and you don't know what you're talking about. And I'll be like, no, like I actually do know what I'm talking about. You're just angry. You're like an angry troll. And like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah. And then that's social media too, right? That's the other side of that coin.
Exactly. But I don't step down. I do not back down. I will have full fights with people in my chat. And I still have mentors and stuff in real estate that'll see that sometimes, being like, Brandin, like you should watch out. You don't want to say something polarizing. But at the end of the day, it's never affected my business, because it's not about being like, obviously don't go and throw out like super polarizing like political stuff, but having a passion and standing behind who you are, like, being proud of who you are and presenting that and then actually defending it, it doesn't look bad. If you get in a fight with somebody because you're defending your knowledge of your industry to other people who actually respect you and want to work with you, that just makes you look like you know more. You know more, and you're actually standing behind it. You're not just going out and making a video saying, the market stats, you should buy a house right now. Well, why? Why should you buy a house? If you can't defend it and you're not willing to fight with somebody who says, no, you're an idiot, you should not buy a house right now, then why are you telling people to buy a house? Because you don't believe the same 100%. Stuff that you're spewing.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that. And it also has to do, looking at it from your mentor's perspective, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume they might not be native not just TikTok. They might not be native to social media. Like that's
Yeah.
you have to kind of put that filter on top of it, saying, no, you should put your face on a bench and on a billboard, and the billboards don't talk; they just look nice, right? You have to be kind of, give the facade of this is what you should look like and professional and buttoned up. And that, again, that worked for them. That's how they built their business. That was the interaction back then. And things have changed. Things have changed 100%. I think authenticity is what people crave. In a world where that's the marketing, right? People crave authenticity. You want authenticity. They appreciate that. They want that. And it's something that
we live in the world. Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, no, go for it. Go for it.
I was going to say, we live in the world of influencers. Everybody is an influencer these days. Everyone wants to be influenced by something. No one wants to, hear somebody's perfect tailored life anymore. That's one of the big things that I think TikTok does so well as well is TikTok is all about just like being raw, being authentic, being yourself. And people expect that on TikTok. No one wants to see, I sometimes see, colleagues of mine, they'll post house tours the same as me, or they'll post things and they've got their like their real estate team posted up here, their brokerage posted down here. And then it's like, it flips to the bit at the end of the video is like, for more information, contact. Well, no one wants that. No one wants to be sold to. No, like if you look at ads on TikTok, they just like, they try their best to just do like hashtag ad and like paid sponsorship as small as possible. And then they just make fun videos. That's where we're at. People want to be entertained. People don't want to feel like they're being sold to. And buyers are so informed these days too. Like you can Google anything. At the end of the day, you could figure out how to buy or sell your house completely on your own if you really had enough time and looked into it. But people are hiring realtors more for experience now and more for like time saving and convenience rather than, you're not Googling like top performing realtors in my city. That's not happening. It's just not, at least in like the demographic that I'm selling to. I'm not sure if it's the same in other demographics. Maybe it's different in more like
I can
luxury
tell you,
markets.
That's not a thing. Let me go find a real estate. People don't look for agents, right? People look for the destination. People, I don't know if you've seen this, but as you get more clients and everything, this is getting more relevant to you. People do take that personal recommendation seriously. When they talk about it, they go, "Oh, you're buying a home? You should talk to my guy. Like I got this girl, this guy, you should talk to them." That is the only time I've seen like agents come into the picture, right? But no one goes like, "Who's a good agent?" Like people find out you're selling or buying a home, they go, "I love this guy, this girl. You got to work with them." And if you've got the added bonus of here's their handle, like you should check them out on TikTok. Their TikToks are amazing. That's a killer combination. You have the personal recommendation, and then you've got the content to like, well, let me see. Let's check this out. Oh wow, right? So that's kind of a killer combination. If you can get both of those, I think that's great. So Brandin, tell us. Okay, so this is the what, right? We're talking about the what you've been able to build, what you've been able to do here. So let's look at the how a little bit. Let's open up the how, because you sound like very intentional with your content now, right? Maybe that wasn't it at the beginning, but what does do you have like a content creation process? Is it because I was talking to a TikToker a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, throughout the day, he grabs his phone and just, when he feels inspiration, he'd like record the TikTok. I go, that's interesting. That's one way to do it. But he religiously did it like 2 to 3 times a day. So I was like, okay, there's a lot of discipline in that, but there wasn't a lot of planning beforehand. It was whatever he thought of, whatever he discovered, was what he put out there. That's one. I'll put that on one end of the spectrum, like a very, go from the gut. But where would you be on that spectrum of go from your gut to planning everything a month in advance? Where are you on that spectrum?
So when it comes to house tours, very intentional. My house tours themselves, I have 3 categories of house tours that I make sure that I post kind of in cyclical cycle. I have, I say that there are kind of like luxury houses. The more luxury houses, those are videos that are going to get you a lot of views. They're viewership videos. They are those cool houses, probably a couple million. In Edmonton, they're like 1 million, but depending on where you are, probably a couple million. Those are the houses that people are just going to look at because they're beautiful. Probably not going to gain many followers from it. Going to get a lot of comments and stuff like that though, and going to get a lot of views, which always feels nice. The second one is what I say is kind of like the nurture houses. So these are your run of the mill kind of I would say more like middle class houses. It's the houses that most people in your market or your niche will be buying. So some people's niche are luxury, so they post only luxury. But my niche is more like suburban middle class. So I try to put a bulk of my houses between that like 400 to about 650, 700,000. These are the videos that don't go crazy viral at first because they're not houses that are, they're houses
Wow,
that you expect
amazing,
to like
amazing.
walk into your neighbor's house and be like, wow, you have a really nice house. But you're not like, oh my gosh, like you have like the best house in the world. It's kind of like you have a nice house. That's great. So I try to post those the most because those ones are the ones that I get leads from. Those are the
Mm,
ones that, you know, you
I
get
can live there.
solid
I can
leads.
live there.
It's always nice. And when people contact from those videos, it's people who are legitimately looking for houses.
Interesting.
Then the next one that I say is kind of like the wow factor videos, but not luxury wow factor. Like wow factor is in like showing that you are willing to find like I do mostly affordable homes in this wow factor thing. So, I remember one time I found a mobile home for sale that was $48,000. And so I did a video of it.
That's
It went
wild.
bananas. Like it went so viral, it was insane because it's one of those videos that people are like, wait a minute, like you can find houses for 48,000. I didn't even know that existed still. And
Wow.
these go up to like I would say like even houses under like 300,000. A lot of people are like, wow, that's crazy. Like you can get a $300,000 house or 210,000. These are the houses that are they're easy to post, but they are a lot of work after the fact. You will get a lot of comments, you will get a lot of followers, you will get a lot of people reaching out to you. Not the best leads reaching out to you, but what I find is it gives you a sphere of influence there because it builds that trust that you're willing to work with anybody. I get so many people reaching out to me from like I posted a $210,000 townhome a week ago, and people were reaching out to me being like, "Hey, I'm trying to convince like my sister to move out here. Can you help her find a house? I think her budget would be really good for this townhome." And then I get in contact with them, and then I find out, oh, her budget's actually like 400,000. We can look at different things. So it's one of those houses where you get a lot of people sending it to their friends, being like, look, like you can move to Edmonton, or look, like you can find a house here for that much, and that'd be perfect for you, or you can live in my community, or you can do that. So those houses are always amazing for building up your email list because a lot of people also are going to sign up on your website from that. On TikTok, you have to have at
Mm,
least 1,000 to have 1,000 followers to have your website linked. But a lot of people will sign up on your website from those videos because people are going to be like, wait a minute, I'm going to go and check if this is actually real. And then I'm going to click on his little website, try to Google, like, type in 48,000 to whatever and try to find this listing. And people do. And you gain a lot of people from those posts. And I'm not opposed to selling those houses either. I like to help anybody who's looking for a house, and it just feels nice to be able to post something and make every single person excited about real estate.
I
Um,
love that. I love that. And
yeah,
and I love the it's coming from contribution, right? It's you're trying to help people out. I think people, and again, people love that on social media. Like, hey, wow, this is, you're not just, it also differentiates you from someone that would just be luxury, for example. Just luxury,
yeah,
only luxury. That's nice to browse. That's like, that's like Bravo
yeah,
TV. That's like, I'll watch that for a little bit, but I'm not going to work with any of them because I'm not there. That's not me. It's nice to look at.
exactly.
It's window dressing. I love that, right? But I'm going to go, to the regular department store. I'm going to walk by Saks Fifth Avenue, and I'm actually going to go shop at Target, right? So, I mean,
Exactly.
you understand. It sounds like you really understand that demographic. Like you really understand that audience, and you kind of lived that experience of relocating and moving there, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
it comes from having that really deep connection with that audience. And I want to ask, so that's, you've got those different categories of videos. Something I didn't really see, maybe you did this early on or not, is a lot of these TikTok memes. I don't see a lot of meme videos from you. Is that intentional, or did you try that? Did it work out that well? I mean, it's really more different aspects, but they're all real estate related. but they, know what I mean by, people that might not be familiar with that term, it's, using like the dancing videos or the video clip videos, the ones that go viral and people like make their own version of them, right? Have you tried those? I mean, maybe you just didn't find them on your feed, but
So my philosophy behind posting on TikTok is everything has a purpose for it. Even if I'm just picking up my phone and talking, there ultimately needs to be a purpose. Who are you trying to reach? What are you trying to achieve with this video? I did a deep dive onto accounts. There's the Broke Agent, which I'm sure everyone has heard of. He does funny social media content, poking fun at real estate tropes. The thing is, though, the Broke Agent is followed by realtors. The Broke Agent is not followed by clients. I stay very, very client focused because at the end of the day, I remember I've seen some and they're like, oh, like when you party too hard on a Saturday and then you are fumbling with the keys to open your open house on a Sunday morning and stuff like that. To me, from a client standpoint, what are they gaining from seeing that? If anything, they're just looking at
complaining about them, complaining about the clients,
exactly.
Right? Another buyer that doesn't qualify, like that. Yeah, I've seen that. Like, hey, who are you poking fun at here? It's the person. I think it's the person watching the video, right? So.
Exactly, and they do it because it's easy. They do it because it's easier to do a trending sound. Like everyone has probably heard that sound being like, oh, like when a buyer picks up and they're like, I'm looking for a pool, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, but my budget is 300,000. Everyone's probably heard that trending sound. What did you gain from that? Like no client's gonna look at you and say, okay, cool. It almost, for me, when I watch that, I'm like, it kind of gives an entitlement vibe where it's like, you think the general public should understand the market, but it's our job to educate on the market. It's our job to have clients come to us. And when they're like, hey, I'm looking for a pool, I'm looking for that, I'm looking for this, it's our job to be able to talk to them and say, that's unrealistic. But I still can find you a house. If we take away the pool and we take away this and we take away that, I can still find you a solid house. But they're not going to reach out to you if you just made fun of them because they don't know the market as well as you do.
100%. 100%.
No, yeah. So that's kind of why I don't make the fun content. And I try to be fun in other ways. Like, I can show, I go live a lot where I can be a little more uncensored. But that's kind of where I do that. I just think for me, trending sounds, also with trending sounds, they're huge on TikTok. I know so many, like even real estate gurus who tell people, go on TikTok and use trending sounds. Even if you're doing a house tour, just like use whatever sound is the most viewed. Don't do that. 100% do not do that. You want to be intentional with your audience as well. I don't want people to follow me who are living in, I don't know, somewhere in the States that have no intention of ever moving to Canada. I don't want that. I want my audience to be Edmontonians and people who are maybe interested in moving to Edmonton one day. Other than that, don't follow me. You're just going to leave hate comments like the people are like, but it's Edmonton. Like, I don't want that.
No, yeah, I understand. And this is so funny because I was actually experimenting with the platform recently. And I tried finally I'm gonna try one of these trending sounds. Let's see. I saw another influencer use it. Let me use this. I'll give it a real estate spin. This should be fun. I got, the views that would take me 2 to 3 days to get, I got within an hour. So I said, so there's definitely attention there. But I thought that's really interesting. You're getting attention. It might not be the attention you seek that you want. You're not really going to get the results you expect. It's a vanity metric, I think, right? It's like a vanity metric. And it's really interesting that you can see past that, Brandon. So I mean, I gotta ask you. I mean, your background is in accounting, right? You seem to be really good at this marketing thing beyond being a practitioner. Is this something you sell? Is it like a self-taught thing? Is this like just you being native to the platform? Because you seem to be really, really well versed, not just in TikTok, but in this concept of brand and attracting the right audience and not falling for a lot of these vanity metrics that are really easy to fall for.
I think for me, my entire purpose and the way that my brain works is I always think about what would I want if I was a consumer? I've always thought about that. I always think consumer based. So when I'm making content, I'm thinking about like, okay, I'm a real estate agent, so I can't think about what content a normal person would want to hear from real estate. But what I can do is I buy cars. What type of car ads do I want to see?
Mm.
I buy like, I buy health products. I go to the gym. What type of advertising do I want to see to get me into that? Like when I bought my car, what was it that made me buy the car? What was it that made me go to the dealership
Interesting.
and buy that car? And then I just apply that to my own stuff. We're all consumers. Every single person in this world is a consumer. And when you market the way that you would consume, then you're getting buyers who buy the way that you consume. And then that's easier because you can relate to them. My level of marketing doesn't work for everybody. There are some people in this world that still want a very, very hard forward salesperson. They are very indecisive people. They are people who don't want to do their research. They want to be sat down and told this is the perfect house for them, or this is the perfect car for them. This is why you need to buy that. I'm not that person. I'm a very informed buyer who wants to just have a relationship with somebody who can help facilitate the purchase of X, Y, or Z. And that's who I want to work with. So I just market the way that I consume.
I love that. And that's really, really interesting because you're creating that funnel. You have a couple comments here from Ed. Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Dustin. You're casting that net and you're creating a funnel, right? This is exactly it. Most people, when they talk about marketing funnels, are talking about ads, paid ads, and trying to cajole people down that funnel. You're creating an organic content funnel, right? Where if people progress, if they follow you, if they become a follower, and you look at those videos, it's because something about that content is attracting them, right? Is attracting them. I love that. I can talk about this stuff all day, but I want to get a little bit more tactical with this, Dustin.
Yeah.
So sorry, Dustin, not Brandon, my bad. Sorry, Dustin, over there. So I want to ask you, because you're crazy good on TikTok. Do you repurpose your content to other social media platforms? A lot of the coaches recommend this and they say this, and I'm selfishly asking this because it's something that I do. Because my platform, just in case you didn't know, is Facebook. That's the platform that I'm native to. I do a lot of this like long form content here. This is what I do really, really well. It's kind of placed in my skill set and my personality. But about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I started doing short form. And I'm putting it everywhere. But I'm interested. You've had a lot of success on TikTok. Do you see other platforms as like the goal, or have you not even thought about that?
So when I first started, I was posting, everything was equivalent between TikTok and Instagram. I posted both at the same
You
levels.
ran an experiment. You ran an experiment. I love this.
Exactly.
I'm loving this already.
And the Instagram was it just never took off. I've seen other people have their short forms take off. And recently, I threw away Instagram because I was super annoyed with it when TikTok was becoming huge, and I really focused on that. And then recently I was like, I can probably just repurpose it and throw it up on that. But the content's different. So my TikTok content is a lot more of a community. So this is the thing when it comes to where you're going to post. You can repurpose videos. Of course you can. And if you're doing house tours or you're doing information videos, 100% repurpose videos. But there are videos that I even post that are kind of about who I am as a person, or about my journey, or, I just woke up and I did this. No one cares about that on Instagram for me. But TikTok, they go crazy because so many followers, I have so many followers on there that go onto TikTok for the intention of seeing my content. I don't have that on Instagram. So there's a very specific, I think if you're going to repurpose, you almost still have to focus on one, because it's very rarely in today's, I guess, competition with social media, are you just going to go viral and build this huge connection and this huge following by just providing information. People want to connect with you, and you're not going to be able to connect with people on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, because they're all going to ask different questions. They're all going to ask different things. And, for me, TikTok has become my main domain. So I operate primarily in there. Recently, my videos on Instagram have actually been doing quite a bit better. But most of the followers that I have on Instagram are more like realtors or industry professionals. I've built kind of my Instagram has become kind of just a LinkedIn essentially. Like it's just industry professionals. It's builders. It's different people. I have some clients on there, but nowhere near as many as I have on TikTok. So repurposing, you can do it, but you also, another thing with repurposing is you have to really be serious with yourself and realize, like, are you going to have enough time and enough discipline to go through every single platform every single day to respond to every single comment? Because that's a huge thing with TikTok too, and I think social media in general. If people are commenting and you're not responding, they're going to unfollow you, or they're not going to follow you in general. Because why would they continue to interact with you if you're just going to put out information, but you're not going to interact with them?
I got you. You're right. No, and that's a very what's the term I'm looking for? It's like television commercial. Like people want to put
Yeah.
out television commercials. Like you're misreading the platform. And there's a term. Let me think about this. So Gary Vaynerchuk, I don't know if you follow him, a marketer. He has a term. He calls it platforms and culture. Right? Platform and culture. Every platform has a culture, right? And social media, you're right, 100% has that interactive aspect to it. I agree with you 100%. The consumer doesn't go in to watch a TV commercial, right? That's just not or even a TV show. It's not what they want. You can't chat with the TV show host. They're not going to do a live and talk to you, right? Which I think is kind of wild. So you're saying that definitely repurposing can do it. It's effective, but you understand that you're probably you have a main platform. You have a platform where you're the most native to. You have the most ardent followers on. That is reality, right? That's what usually happens. And for me, that's I understand. For me, that's Facebook. This group actually, this Facebook group that we're on right now. This is my community. These are my people. This is my tribe. And I'm branching out, but it is very different the relationship I have on the other platforms. I'm on YouTube, on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. Very different. The reach, the interaction, the community, because I'm native to this platform. Like, this is me.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that, but this is definitely who I am. But what's interesting, Brandon, is all these platforms want to be TikTok. They've got their TikTok version, which is why this repurposing thing makes a lot more sense now. Because they're all shorts and reels, and Twitter will come up with their own thing at some point. Reddit, I don't know if you use Reddit or not. Reddit wants to be TikTok.
Don't really do Reddit too much, no.
Yeah. So they all want to be TikTok, which I think is definitely. I think that's kind of wild how that actually works out. Absolutely. So I want to ask you another more tactical question. So walk someone through the progression of brand new to the platform, basically your story. 3 months in, you mentioned you started to get some serious buyers. When did those some serious inquiries turn into transactions? And you just finished your first year. I mean, literally just a few weeks ago, you finished your first year.
Yeah.
What did that first year look like? With leads coming in, transactions coming. When did you close your first? Would you say TikTok transaction? How many? I don't know. Months in were you? I want to know all about that.
Yeah, so I actually did close my first deal within 3 weeks of starting real estate.
Yeah, so off of that viral, maybe even off of that first viral video.
So that one was off of the viral video when I first posted. It was
that is wild.
It was just somebody who came in and they were like, "Hey, I'm looking to buy a house," and things were pretty good. The thing that everyone last year was kind of weird because in Canada our market kind of went to shit very shortly after I joined real estate.
Interest rates, right? I mean, they went up to,
Exactly. That being said, I was still consistently so my very first, so I started in May, May of 2022, sorry, it's 2023 this year. May of 2022. For May to about December, I did a deal a month. So
from TikTok,
I did
you're talking about TikTok, just
every single deal that I have done to date has been social media.
That is wild. It's crazy.
So I did one a month for my first year up until December. And that was just people organically reaching out to me, hey, I'm looking to buy a house. Cool. That's great. This year, is when things got a little bananas. I progressively gained quite a few followers. I'm currently sitting at 22,000 right now.
Crazy, right? That's wild.
It's insane. And I would say I can check the analytics, 50, I think 60% of them are in Edmonton, another 20% is in Calgary, and then the others are outside. So it's focusing. My niche is definitely there. And it's doing great wonders for me. And this year, in January alone, I closed 3 deals in January. I did another 4 deals in February. And then I did 3 more deals in March. It was very
Wow,
busy. Um,
crazy.
and then I feel I went through a bit of an identity crisis actually, come April. So in Q1, it was insane for me. Q1
Yeah.
was
You go from 1 a
crazy
month to
for me.
3 to 4 a month. That's like, that's a pretty
Yeah.
hardcore.
And I was really trying to figure out like I had all these people in my head, I guess. I got like, and it was a dead market. Like in Edmonton, it was slow. From like Q1 was super slow. And I was one of the few people that were out like doing multiple deals.
Going
And people were
crazy.
like, holy crap, like what's going on? And then all these top performers kind of got in my ear and they were like, that's great. You've got this little social media platform. And then the whole TikTok ban thing started getting talked about,
It's a
and
thing. It's a thing.
it really got in my head, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I need to change something. Like, what if something happens? What if it gets banned? Maybe this isn't. Maybe I'm just getting lucky. I'm super new to this industry. Am I just lucky? I don't know." So from April to about May, I ended up getting a realtor coach, and I was like, I need help. Like I'm doing deals, but like I want to build my business, and I'm working like 24 hours a day. I'm doing social media. I'm closing all these deals. Like I just don't know what to do anymore. And it was hard because I was being told, let's take your business off of social media as much, and let's get you more, more sphere, more
Door
door knocking,
knocking,
more
or
cold calling, and things
that's
like that.
what
And then you can have
really. So the
multiple
coach told you this. The coach is
business.
like, no, no, this social media thing is a fad. That's what it's. You know what it sounds like. So for someone my age, I'm 40, by the way. So it's
Okay.
like I heard the same thing, Brandon, but it was the internet is a fad. That's what I heard. Just so you know, social. So no, I think about it. It's more like social media. So I'm not that old. So social media is a fad. So,
Yeah.
and speaking of specifically Facebook, so social media is a fad. That's just,
Yeah.
not never going to work. Like, holy cow. That's really, so people that lived through that are coming here and telling you, oh, this is not going to, you can't build a
Yeah,
real off of social media, right?
exactly. And they were like, you can't nurture that business forever. You need to get that. So in April and kind of some of May, I slowed right down because I was like, I need to focus on creating processes and I need to get out of this. And then kind of mid-May, I was like, this is not for me, this traditional style of real estate. I'm going back to just doing
This
social
is,
media. I'm going back to
yeah,
like full on, like just focusing 100%. I started posting a lot more again. I started posting like, I'm trying to diversify my content to be more like talking head videos. I'm trying to, get my name out there in the world in general and just try to like
love it.
talking, like doing things like
But
this.
your way, you're following your
Yeah,
instinct now. Not it's not,
exactly.
what an external actor is telling you should do. You're like saying, what you're asking yourself, what should I do?
Exactly. And that was like the big thing. So I slowed right down. Q2 has been so slow for me up until June. June hit, and I'm currently pending on 6 houses, which is
Yeah,
really good.
that's not bad. You're making up for
I'm
lost time. You're making up for lost
Yeah,
time. That's
I'm
really
in
good.
like overdrive. So it has been very successful, and I think that that's one of the big things that I tell everybody that asks me about social media too, and like just like lead gen new agents coming to me now, which is also really crazy because I've only been in the industry for a year, and I get like new agents asking to come work with me.
That's
Um,
so crazy.
and it's just you have to do what feels natural for you, because if you are doing that, like I was waking up during that April month and I was like, I don't want to do calls. I don't want to do door knocking. I don't want to do that stuff. And I'd always just want to do social media, but I'm like, no, I can't do that. And then I was just like, no, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go
What
back
is
to what
that?
was working for me. And
100%.
people can feel that. And your followers will be able to feel that too. People were asking me, like, people would send me messages outside of just real estate and be like, hey, like, are you doing okay? You haven't been posting as much. When you are posting, you're not your same self. And, it was just, I just got back to doing what I wanted to do. And it's never been better for my business.
I love that. I love that. That's a great story, by the way. I love that because if anyone out here is listening to that, and actually, here's a crazy thing that I've seen, and I've been in the business, well, a while now. But when you find the lead generation source that speaks to you, that you connect with, right, that matches your personality, and not just your personality, your skill set, And because this is not a follow your dream and your passion. No.
Yeah.
This is like, you have to be successful, guys. This is what I mean.
Yeah.
You might be really passionate about, drawing and painting on the wall. Okay, that's not going to bring you business. So find the lead generation method that lends itself to you, right? And for me, it was the phone. That was always like my thing. And actually door knock. I was really good at door knocking and open houses. But I can talk out on my elbows, right? So I can talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, but the calling was just so much more efficient for me. I can sit down and just make calls. So again, but the point is, find the one that you can do at a high level that you, I mean, if you enjoy it, like, holy cow, what? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't think anyone enjoys calling. I get on the phone, pound the phone.
No.
That's very enjoyable. There's not much enjoyable about that. But you do it because it's very efficient. You're good at it. If you could add on to that and you enjoy it and you get some fulfillment out of that, like, don't listen to anyone that wants to stop you from doing it. Like, because that is weird. That sounds strange to people. I understand. I have empathy for it. What? You're like,
and
having
I
all this
think
fun, and what is this, right?
I think there's a huge myth in real estate, and maybe I'm just a baby realtor, so maybe I'm talking just randomly talking now. But for my business, everyone always talks, you need at least like 3 or 4 like lead gens. It's like the chair. The chair is not stable unless it has at least 3 legs. I don't see that. Like, personally, so I think there's purpose in that, in maybe the traditional style of real estate. But with social media is so large. Like, even if I got to a point where I stopped gaining followers, which is not the case, I gain plenty of followers still. But even if I plateaued at 22,000 people, I got called this morning from not a follower, from somebody who literally called me and said, "Hey, Brandon, I'm an investor in Vancouver. My friend follows you on social media. I told him that I was interested in investing in Edmonton. And he said, I know this really cool realtor, give him a call." So even if I stopped at 22,000 and I never gained a single follower from that, how long would it take you to call 22,000 people? How long would it take you to door knock 22,000? That would be years worth of work.
100%.
And I just have that there. So I really think that a social media platform should count as at least 3 lead gen situations, because
it should be like a flywheel. It doesn't have to be disparate, disconnected, unintentional from one to the other. You're creating the social media channel, you're gaining clients. Those clients, they're now your sphere. Like, now you've got database, right? You've got an email list.
Sphere.
You've got an email list, right? Email list, you've got your past clients. There you go. Email list, past clients, news, social media. There you go. You got 3. We're good. We got the studio.
Perfect.
The chairs there, right? So, I mean, I think it can be a very square way to look at it. And you know what? But I know a lot of coaches. I know where they're coming from. I get it. I understand it. But I think they don't understand this opportunity because it's very unique. It's very unique, and I'm sure they're not used to seeing it. But anyways, we could talk all day about that. So this is not a coaching session. This is like a discussion here. So but actually, you brought up this is the question I've asked all of the TikTok influencers that we've talked to over the last month. I've asked them this question: what would you do if the U.S., Canada, whatever, if they ban TikTok? This is again rumored. It might happen, it might not. Some countries have done it. India India is bigger than all of the Americas, right? All put together. But they banned TikTok, right? So I mean, it's possible. Let's just say that it's possible. What would you do then? I mean, you've definitely thought this through, right? You've gone through the motions of it. What do you think you would do? Boom, tomorrow TikTok's gone, Brandon. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I've looked into it a lot, and I would say there's a very small percentage chance that would actually happen. But if it ever did happen, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I probably haven't thought about it as much as I should have thought about it, because for me, I'm just like living my life. I would like to think that a lot of people would just follow me over. Like, it's not like it would just be like one day we delete it and stuff. Like, I have very, very, very loyal followers on TikTok who I know for a fact, if I was like, hey guys, TikTok's being banned, if you still want this content, like, let's go to Instagram or something like that, I would gain stuff there. I think it would definitely be a big hit to my business, though. Like, that would be silly for me to not think.
There'd be a transit. There'd be something there. But you know what? Every single person has said what you said. Everyone I've asked this question to, like, I've got the connection. I've got the community. right? And if there's no TikTok, it's actually, I mean, you can look this up. This happened in India. 14 other TikToks popped up the next day, right?
Yeah.
So instead of having one big TikTok, they've got 14 because I mean, India's a big place, right? So we've got 14 TikToks now. And at some point they're going to be one too. Let's be honest, right? That's how these apps tend to work.
Exactly.
But there's a transition for sure. It's not like one day to the next, right? So there's something there, right? You should put somebody away. Okay, let's say that. But the attention doesn't disappear, right? I mean, the
Exactly. And
attention
I
is not going to
think,
go anywhere.
and I think like, you know, I don't think it's special to TikTok why I grew. I didn't think it had to be TikTok. You know, even when I was posting like both on Instagram and TikTok, I still always favored TikTok because it's honestly easier. I think it's the demographic though. And I think the demographic that uses TikTok, like you mentioned, if TikTok just eliminated, that demographic would go to Reels. They would go to either YouTube Reels or Instagram Reels. And that demographic is not just going to eliminate their care from me.
They're not going to start reading blogs, right? They're not going to go back and watch TV. Like, come on, right? Let's be real.
Exactly. They'll always want short form content now, no matter what. Exactly. And it's just, they would find me on Instagram, or that the demographic that uses TikTok would be the demographic that shifts back to Instagram. My success on TikTok has been a demographic thing, not you know, it's TikTok. It doesn't matter what platform it is. It's about the users of that platform.
Gotcha. And you know them so well, and you understand them, you know them, and TikTok has been a very efficient way for you to connect with them. But I agree with you. The platform, it helps, right? It's the medium. But I mean, how many people have TikTok? Real estate agents have TikTok. They don't form that bond. They don't form that connection. They don't have that instinct, right? So, Brandon, you know, we could go on for a couple hours more. I think it's a really interesting topic. And I love talking to practitioners. And you put a lot of thought. There's a lot of intentionality in the stuff that you do. You've organized it really, really well. I love that. So it's been a really interesting conversation. It's been pure joy. Thank you so much. And if people want to reach out, right? The people from Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Toronto, or the States, whatever, they want to reach out, you know, continue the conversation with you. What is the best way to reach out?
I would say, honestly, probably my Instagram, which is, it's brandin.realty. So it's Brandin, my name is spelled with an I, just to make that, be aware of that, Brandin. And then it's just .realty, REALTY. Instagram is easier. It's an easier medium to DM back and forth. TikTok they're like blocked behind following and things like that. If you do message me on TikTok, I actually can receive it because my privacy settings are different, but I wouldn't be able to message you back unless you change your privacy settings. Got it.
That's great. Awesome. So, Brandin, thank you so much. Appreciate you. It's been a great one. Let's clip this one. There's going to be some great clips, some great short form clips coming out of this. Because you opened up everything, you shared a lot of the stuff you've learned over the last year. Yeah, it's only been a year, but guess what? It's been a year well spent mastering a craft. You've been mastering a craft. I wish agents would spend a year mastering the way you've done and analyzed and thought about your presence on TikTok. I wish agents would think of that way about open houses, about cold calling, about networking, about whatever it is you do for lead generation, and put that kind of thought behind it. And like you said, I love this phrase. You think about the consumer, you think like a consumer, and you create content for the people you want to attract. I love that. That's a huge golden nugget for me, a great takeaway. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Brandon. Thank you so much. Have a great day.